with you this afternoon for you, morning for me, is to share an exercise around this facet of self-awareness that I often use when people are first engaging and getting into a new change. And the way it'll work is I'm going to give you an opportunity to do a little reflection and to do some work on your own. And I'm going to be talking you through the nuances of this exercise as you're doing so. And then you're really going to have an opportunity to get the support and care of your community by going into a breakout session where you're going to talk about your reflection and what came up for you. And then we'll bring you back as a large group and debrief that and talk about some of the themes and insights that you observed. And that'll be our session. So what I'd like to ask you to please do at this moment is to either take out a piece of paper or to write on your computer what you see on the screen here. 3 columns. What is out of your control? What can you influence? And what is within your control? And what I'm going to ask you to do is to take 3 introverted moments on your own and to complete these 3 columns as you're thinking about what's happening in your world right now as it pertains to this virus and to your situation. So you're going to start by thinking about what is out of your control. And just to give you some examples here, so clearly the virus is out of our control. Secondly, perhaps some of your clients are canceling appointments. That is out of your control. And the economy, right? That's not something we're really excited about, what's happening with the economy right now. So these are all examples of things that are out of your control, as well as mine. And when we think about things that are out of our control as it pertains to change, it's super important that as much as possible, that we're not spending time and energy on these things. Because I don't know about you, but I certainly have wasted a tremendous amount of time and energy in the past thinking about things I cannot control. And it doesn't help the situation. So usually when we think about things that are out of our control, they're usually pretty straightforward. And oftentimes what you'll find upon further reflection is that some of the things you might think are completely out of your control, you might be able to influence. So with that, I want to give you a couple of moments to consider now, what are some things in your world currently that you can influence and that you might be able to control? So I'll give you a moment or two on your own. Take another minute or so on your own. For those that might have just joined, we're going through an activity, thinking about what's out of your control, what you can influence, and what you can control as it pertains to your current situation and life with COVID-19. All right, so wherever you're at, if you could jot down your last note for now. And of course, you can continue to reflect and process as we go throughout this session. And I'd like to talk a little bit more now about the next column here. What can we influence? when it comes to our current situation. And to get the conversation started, I'd love for you to put in the chat box, what are some items that you thought about that you could currently influence in your situation? So go ahead, please, and type those in the chat box. Okay, mindset of those in my care, absolutely. What else? Workspace, which is a big deal for many people not used to working at home. Reaching out to former clients, my family, my business, taking precautions to be safe, my humor, absolutely. Relationships, the home environment, your outlook each day. Excellent list. And if you notice, as you're thinking about this list, there's often here more than we think we can influence than we might initially recognize. And yes, got more coming in: volunteering, staying connected to family and friends, setting an example during a tough time. Thank you all so much. I love this. And just to add here, my personal list, let me go back here. So some things that came up for me as I was reflecting upon this. Number one, being able to support ICF by facilitating a workshop like this. And just to let you know, the reason this all came about is because I raised my hand very quickly at ICF Los Angeles, where I was president 2 years ago, and said, hey, resilience is really key right now. Would you like me to facilitate sessions on resilience? And then as a result of that, Barb, who remembered me from the Global Leaders Forum speaking in Dublin last year, connected me with Rosemary. And then actually at the Global Leaders Forum meeting this week on Monday, Sarah Smith was so kind to recognize our chapter for what we have been doing. We also created a resource guide around and other activities. And as a result of that, actually ICF president of Puerto Rico asked me to facilitate a session as well. So that was all because I influenced that situation. So we often have way more power in being able to influence than we realize we do. I also can support my clients and support other coaches in going through an exercise like this, which is very impactful, especially in those initial phases, to get some clarity and not just have the amygdala hijack and, you know, be a victim to our emotions when they are so strong. So with that, let's shift into this idea of control. So when you think about your current situation, what are things that you truly can control right now? Love to hear it. Once again, please go ahead in the chat box. Self-care, yes, super important. Sleep, What else? What I eat, definitely. My time management, connections, habits, my reactions, yes. My thinking, what I create, my emotions, my fitness, my attitude. Beautiful list. What I put into the world, when I go to bed. These fantastic list, yes, to all of this. And when you think about it in life, right? The only thing or person we can control, as your list so beautifully exhibits, is ourselves, right? That's really all we can control, as much as we might like that to be different. And I'm going to share a quote with you from Viktor Frankl. And for those of you that might not be familiar with Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, he was a psychiatrist that survived the Holocaust. And this quote he writes, "We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts, comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Powerful. And when we think about what we can control, it's that simple and it's that hard. It's really up to us. When I thought about this for myself, it's really exactly what you were sharing. It's all of the above. My self-care, the way I'm showing up in my relationships, just like all of you. So also, as you'll see here, creating a daily routine has been super important for me. Doing a lot of mindfulness practices. I always do, but I'm doubling up my 2 times a day now with my meditations. Yeah, so there's lots of things that we can be doing to support ourselves during a time like this. So with that, I'm going to give you an opportunity now to get some support and care from your ICF Toronto community. And the way that this is going to work is, in a moment, we are going to get you into breakout groups. And you are going to, first of all, please pick a spokesperson. So that the spokesperson will be paying attention to themes that you're noticing in the discussion, so that when we come back, you can share what you noticed. And you have some options as you're getting into your groups and what you'd like to share. You can talk about what were some ahas or awarenesses for you around what you can control or influence. Another possibility is to share any struggles that you might be having, letting go of things that are out of your control, or perhaps strong emotions that you've been experiencing during this really unprecedented, chaotic time. So as we're going through this process together in your breakout groups, I really want to invite you to be vulnerable, to be authentic. I think we as coaches, it's really easy for us to want to be a leader, to want to be strong, which is great. And we need a venue where we can be taking care of ourselves and where we can authentically communicate and express ourselves. So when we get you into your groups, please don't hold back. Share whatever it is that's present for you and get that support and loving care of your community. And we're going to take, let's see, approximately, let's do 16 minutes if we can, Bashir. So 16 minutes. We're going to get you into groups of 4. I might float around to check out how things are going. Before we break you into your groups, what, if any, questions do you have? Fantastic. Okay, so enjoy the conversation and we'll check in just a bit. Hello. You got to unmute yourself. There.
When I make a sound, it sends me a note. Unmute yourself.
Sorry, excuse me. Najin, you can join room, breakout room 4. You are invited to join breakout room number 4. I think Najin, yeah, perfect, she's in. So everyone in. I had 9 groups, 10 groups of 4, except 2, but unfortunately 3 left the Zoom meeting while we created that. So I have like 4 rooms of 3.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And
that's great too.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people do that when there is now activity. Sure. They don't want to be part of it.
Yeah, nothing personal. They want to know how they will get the slides by email, right, Bashir?
Yes, but yes, by email, I believe so. So
yeah,
you want me to let you join? Annie?
Sorry, what?
No, Rachel. Which should I let you join any room?
No, I'm okay.
I'm just thinking about the timing, Bashir. When are we going to bring people back?
In 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
So it was 16. Now with the countdown looks 14 minutes.
Okay, so it'll be like 12:39 your time.
Yes.
Okay, just tracking.
Yeah, no problem.
How are we doing so far, Rosemary? Are you any feedback so far?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Oh, you are great.
Well, thank you. Okay, great. And then Bashir, are you going to send them a message like a couple of minutes beforehand?
Yes, before 2 minutes. Is that okay?
That would be great.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah. I'd be happy to drop into a group, maybe one of the groups with 3.
I will do so right now. Just hold on.
And then, oh, and Bashir, if I want to get out of the group, what do I need to do?
You can request to leave the group. You can do that.
Will that be a button that I'll see?
Yes.
Okay. I will look for it. Thank
Just
you so
in
much.
case, no problem. Just in case, can you tell me how many approximately minutes you would like to stay there? 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, about 3 minutes would be good.
Okay, perfect. If you did not go out, I will kick you out from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. So let me look at this. Rachel, I'll move you to. Done? Good luck.
Thank you.
You received the request right now. Accept the request to join room number 10.
I'm not seeing it yet.
Oh, I also got a request, but I ignored it.
Oh, I didn't get a request. Maybe it went to Rosemary instead.
Oh, no, it's you actually for room number 10. Let me move you to room number 9. You should receive a request right now. Notifications, maybe it's hidden or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it for some odd reason.
This is fun. You're a navigator in control.
Yes.
Yeah, I just moved you again to another room. To room number 6.
I don't know why I'm not. Normally I get that message. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm not seeing it.
Right. Okay, let me just do it again. Maybe, okay, room number 5. There's 3. Here you go. I moved you to room number 5. No?
Not yet.
So weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
But Rosemary, you said you got it, so that's interesting.
No,
But it went away.
No, the first one actually. She got the first one. Yeah, sometimes Zoom behave weird. So.
Yes, they have some glitches going on, that's for sure.
Okay. Did you receive a notification right now to join co-host group?
No.
So I think you're not receiving the notifications.
Okay. Well, it's not the end of the world if I don't go in.
Yeah, so let me try again with any other one. Here we go. I let you join another one. Another one. No luck, right?
Mm-mm.
No problem. I think you're not putting.
Let's see if I'm missing anything here.
Yeah. Move on number. Rosemary, I will send you an invitation. Please do not accept, but I just want to check if that's working. So I will
Okay, fine, no problem.
So I requested you to join room number 9. Did you receive the notification?
No.
Wait.
We have a new person come in.
Okay. Hello, Jenny.
Hello.
Everyone's in a breakout room at the moment, Jenny.
Okay.
We can put you in a breakout room, Jenny. We're basically talking about what we can't control, what we can control, and what we can influence during this time with COVID-19.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So we'll
I'll
get
let
to
you
the group.
Perfect. I'll do that. Jenny, you should join room number 2. You will receive a notification right now. Perfect. So she got it. That's
I'm
so
glad
weird.
it worked for her. That's so strange.
Do it again for you. So we will try. We will keep. Okay. I will do it right now. Okay. I don't think you got it.
Nope,
No, we're sorry.
that's okay. Not the end of the world.
Sorry for that.
Bizarre, but it's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah. In our last session also, weird thing happened to me. Like I wanted the co-host not to be in the rooms, but actually they went into the rooms and I can't get them out. So
That happened to me the first time I facilitated this. I went into the room, but I just stayed. I was like, okay.
sorry for that. Also.
No problem. Thank you for your support. It's nice to have someone on the back end for sure.
Yeah. And the whole point we are doing is just for you to focus on your content, you know.
Yes, that is very helpful. I'm going to be leading another session for Los Angeles tomorrow, and I won't have somebody like you. So I very much value you being here.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Okay, 8 minutes left.
So Rachel, just to tell you, at the end, I will say thank you to you. I will announce Maggie's one next month, and then I will tell them to do the survey.
Terrific. That sounds great.
3 things, okay? All right.
Oh, and you know what? Maybe just remind them too that we'll send them the PDF of the slides.
I put it in the chat, but I can do that again.
Yeah, you never know if people read the chat. So.
Yes. Because only one person said thank you anyway, so.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay, so I write that.
Good to over communicate in these things.
I'm doing this exercise myself because I really needed to create a schedule for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what you had in yours, that's what I like: meditation, exercise, organize my food for the day, and I have a little reading that I need to do. And this morning I discovered, because it was after a long time I put on my makeup, that I need to do this every day because I see myself on the screen and I don't like what I see. But today, yeah, I thought, okay, you go back to putting on makeup.
Yes, so sometimes we need to act as if.
Well, yeah, like because of the presentation, I did it, but normally I don't. I thought, no, I have to do this because that's also a ritual, right? That you enjoy making, for yourself. It's self-care.
Yeah, I actually love when I don't have to wear makeup, but.
Well, yeah, I also love. I thought, oh, my skin will all that stuff. But at least the days I know I'm going live because I see myself. Otherwise, I'm not seeing when you do it live, you don't see your face, right?
Exactly.
But when you're on Zoom, you're seeing your face.
You look beautiful. I'm glad you feel good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Most important, you feel good.
Yes.
Great. All right, just a few more minutes here.
So we're on the 5 minutes mark.
Yeah. Yeah, I was contemplating possibly doing another breakout room, but we'll see how the conversation goes. I thought of having them do some action planning, but we could also use the chat box for that. So we'll just see how the debrief goes.
And so, Bashir, how many people do we have online? 40? Or they dropped?
Just hold on. We had, when we started, 38 minus 3 for sure, so 35, 3 to 4 dropped the session.
Okay, good enough. That's still good enough.
Yep.
We get that amount for our monthly meetings also, so.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, and I saw that you sent something out to Orange County. They announced your upcoming meeting, your virtual meeting coming up. So I told them about today, and they actually sent out an announcement about today as well in Orange County.
Oh, in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? They did the Michael Bungay-Stanier one, I guess.
Yes, and I noticed that and said, oh, I'm also speaking at Toronto. So then they put out another announcement, which was so lovely.
Oh, okay. I don't know how many non-Torontonian people we have online, you know.
Well, we could ask people, but then we could ask people as they're coming in to write where they are today.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
It's usually a good opener, by the way, in the Zoom to ask people that in the beginning.
Yes, yes. Second City does that. I put on Second City on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I don't do it every time, but when I do one, they're like, hi from Toronto, hi from Kentucky, hi from Iceland even.
Yeah, it's fun. You get people from all over the world. Did you attend the GLF virtual meeting?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there's another one tonight.
Oh. That's the one I'll do.
There we go. Thank you, Bashir. Yeah, it was very good. The opening session was very nice. Okay. All right, just about there.
They get a good in-depth session of chatting with each other.
Yeah, I really wanted to give them time. Yeah, I did another session earlier this week and they're like, oh, we wanted more time.
Yeah.
All righty.
I seem to be stuck in my chat box. Somebody sent me a private message and I'm stuck in my chat box.
What does that mean?
1 minute and then breakout room to close. Zinc.
Great, let me get out of this view then.
The person who sent it to me is not in the meeting, so it's not going.
Fifteen seconds.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't even know what I was clicking there. So.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And the rest of my group is still talking. Sorry.
They'll be joining you shortly.
Okay.
Here we come.
Sorry, I missed your.
I just noticed the breakout room is closing, so I hope you guys trust me to represent some of what we've talked about.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So as you're coming back on again, if you wouldn't mind, please going ahead and muting yourself. Welcome back, everybody. All right, do we have everyone back, Bashir?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. All right, so would love to hear from some of our spokespeople. What were some of the themes that you are noticing in your rich conversations? Who would like to start? If you want to raise your hand, I can see you, perhaps. Okay, Claire, let's go ahead and unmute yourself, Claire.
Okay, hi. I was raising my real hand and then I had to find the button too. So there we
Love
go.
it.
So we had a few things. I'll start with redefining productivity as a big theme that a lot of us experience, because there's a lot of pressure, and my expertise is productivity. So it's kind of, it's what I love to talk about, but there's a lot of pressure on what we feel we should be doing, and being able to redefine as what a productive day look like is a really healthy place to be. And for a lot of us, it involves making sure there's connection that really matters, being creative, and finding those routines that you can count on. And the last one was really staying in a place of strengths-based giving so that we can keep filling our cups. So that pretty much encompasses the 5 points that we thought were important.
Fantastic. By just show of hands, anybody else having to redefine what productivity looks like for you? Definitely. Yeah, those themes around what is the new routine, and really considering how productive we want to be at this point too, because I think it's really easy to kind of get in that trap thinking, well, I have time, so I need to like power down. Some people are like, I'm writing a new book now, I'm doing this, and that might work for you. And there are other folks that in these types of times might find it harder to focus, might need more sleep and rest and self-care. So it's not a one size fits all. And I think it's easy to get kind of sucked in that trap, like you were saying, Claire, what we should be doing at this time, especially in our role as coaches. It's really easy to kind of put on that persona, like I'm the superhero here, but you might not be feeling that. So I really appreciate that conversation. Let's hear from another group. Fiona, you had your hand up, your virtual hand up. If you want to unmute yourself. We can't hear you yet.
Yeah, okay, I'm here. So yeah, in addition to that, to kind of complement what was said earlier, we had a long discussion with lots of different pieces to this, but some of the things that came up were we can control co-creating connections with other people, various groups, which then provide us support. We can influence our clients even when they're canceling, reaching out, and how do we connect with them to talk about how important it is to actually be part of coaching at this time. We talked about how we can hold our internal energy, be very conscious of our internal energy, and realize what's happening inside, and kind of leave room to process what's going on. And we also talked about how we can influence our own learning and development. Exercises like this, it's exciting, it's motivating, and we all have control over that. We talked also about things that we need to let go of, and there were some interesting things there. First of all, when I fall off the wagon, it's okay, I can get back on. Or letting go of what productivity means. Productivity does not necessarily mean accomplishing a very long list of to-dos. One of our folks said, productivity for me was the day I had that like super long nap. It was exactly what I needed. And so giving ourselves as well permission and forgiveness when life is different from perhaps the way we perceived ourselves in the past. So, and we also, somebody also noted, We need to not, I need to let go of being irritated when people don't follow social distancing guidelines.
Excellent. What a rich discussion, and some of the things that really piqued my attention as you were sharing. One is around this idea of social connection, which is another facet on the self-resilience indicator I created, which is so key right now, especially with social distancing, right? You know, it's easy to get isolated. So this is a beautiful time to really be reaching out to folks you might not normally reach out to, being able to utilize technology as we are here. So at least we have some visual and seeing, yes, there are still other people out there in the world. So that definitely caught my attention. And the other thing that sparked for me as you were sharing is this idea of doing versus being. You know, in any situation, there's always the doing of something. And then there's, how do we want to show up? Who do we want to be in this moment? And I think in particular with times like this, focusing on the being and the feeling and the experience that we want to have is really key. Because like you were saying, you know, maybe success now is that self-care. Maybe I needed that nap. Or if I fell off the wagon and maybe ate a little bit more than I normally would, or whatever your vice might be, how do we show up with grace and compassion for ourselves? And as a recovering perfectionist, it's really easy to put those high expectations on ourselves and then to remind ourselves, oh yeah, I too am going through this disorientation and chaos phase of change. How can I be more gracious with myself during this time? Thank you so much. Who is another spokesperson that'd like to share? Jim, is that you raising your hand there?
It is, yeah.
Go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, thanks. So we started off with talking about areas that we felt psychologically we were vulnerable about, and so psychological vulnerability, a physical contact, lack of physical contact was a vulnerability that we had, a general sense of lack of control. And one of the participants in our group used the expression, which I thought was interesting, which was waves of emotion that were ebbing and flowing. So she would get waves of emotion coming in and then they would go, but then they would come back again, and how to manage that. So lots of, as with everybody really, lots of struggling. But what we came out of that was that through these challenges that we're going through, there's lots of opportunities. And there's actually growth, individual and collective growth opportunities. There's lots of examples of kind of enhanced adaptability, creativity, and resourcefulness. Mm-hmm. And they expressed in our group how much they, in the past, have taken things really for granted, and how they appreciate things so much more. There seems to be a heightened appreciation. And I wrote down quotes that how lucky we are now, and how very grateful we are right now. So it's kind of heightened our awareness on appreciating things. So some practical individuals said that they've started the structured daily routines. They've very intentive about supporting kids and family, and a very much self-care focus, like some of the others have mentioned. And one example that we used of shifting from lack of control to at least some control, Deb's mother is about 3-4 weeks ago turned 100, and she's in a long-term care. So we're concerned about that, and we can't see her. There's no control in that sense. But we shared with our group that we do a call every day with her at 4 to 5 before she goes to dinner. And then we also got her an iPad, and she struggles with technology, but we've got somebody helping her out with FaceTime, and we kind of share with her stories of the day through FaceTime and the iPad. So that's, putting some control into the situation.
I love that example of that no control, at least to what you can really influence or control. And congrats to your mom turning 100. May she continue to be healthy. And just some of the themes that I'm hearing in your conversation. One is around this idea of social competence, which is another facet. I'm actually going to be facilitating a session for ICF Los Angeles tomorrow. If you guys want to join, it's open to the public. This idea, how do we still be competent in our relationships when our fuse might be really short at this time? I personally have found this challenging at home with my husband and son 24/7. The other thing that you shared around that roller coaster of emotion, as we talked about in the beginning of our time together, we're not alone. Everyone is experiencing this. So whatever you can be doing to give yourself permission to feel. I personally love breathwork meditation. If you've never tried that before, it really helps to release emotion and let it go through you instead of trying to push it away. So very healing in that way, but whatever practice you have where you just give yourself that permission, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. Of course, we want to self-manage and make sure we're not taking it out on others. And sometimes we'll slip. So how do we recover? And how, again, can we be gracious with ourselves during a challenging time such as this? So what I'd love to do with our remaining few minutes here, I'd like to give you an opportunity now that you've really been sitting with this and thinking about what is in your control and what can you influence at this time, and to please jot down for yourself one baby step action in the next week. And this might be an action, it also could be an intention, again, you know, doing and being, about how you can either influence or how you might be able to better self-control during the next week. So take a moment and consider that for yourself. I'm a big fan of baby steps. And then when you're ready, go ahead, please, and share with us. Let's put some accountability here and share with your friends here. What are those action items that you want to commit to as a result of our conversation today? So when you're ready, go ahead and put in the chat box some of those action items. I love seeing your heads churning and you're writing away. It's fantastic. All right, so Barb is sharing being in a higher vibration space, ordering games to play. Yes, we have big puzzles in my house right now. Yes, managing that need that you feel like got to attend everything, that FOMO, fear of missing out. Committing to your learning and development, meditating consistently, and spending time to read coaching resources, reaching out to family members, being by yourself, yes, and recharging, journaling, fantastic. Reaching out and recommending meditation, breath work, and grounding, setting intentions and to be in a space of gratitude, which is definitely a theme that you were just sharing, Jim. Celebrating the small first, using the stationary bike. You don't have to show up perfectly. Well put. Less comparing. Yes. Looking towards the future. What will the future hold? And one of the themes I'm also hearing as we're having conversation here, innovation. What tremendous innovation is happening as a result of this situation right now. It has forced every organization, every individual to rethink how we show up and what we do each day. And it's, I think, just amazing to watch the boom, the world just changed overnight. How can we be innovative? How can we be creative, as you were mentioning, Jim, in really rethinking how we show up in the world right now and what we're doing? Reaching out to past clients. Fantastic. So with that, I am going to pause here and going to let you know, as somebody asked earlier in the chat box, that we will be sending you a PDF of the slides. Also wanted to, I'm going to share my contact info here so you can reach out to me and get in touch with me. There's also information about the self-resilience indicator I had mentioned to you. So I just want to thank you so very, very much for the opportunity to be a part of ICF Toronto today, and just wishing you all continued good health and safety, and we will get through this on the other side. So I'll turn it back over to you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Rachel, for the generosity of your time and sharing your expertise and knowledge on the subject of coping with change. Just as a listener and a participant, it was as a participant and listening to everyone, I thought one thing that I'm really going to do going forward is use this time to create those habits that I've always said, oh, that's what I should be doing and I don't have time. So I made a list while I was listening to you, and I thank you for that. It's virtual, so I'm going to send you a virtual hug for being with us today. Yes, a nice virtual hug. And I'd like to remind everyone that we have part 2 of Cultivating Resilience during COVID-19. It will be on wholeheartedness in uncertain times on May 13th. And Margaret Paul, who is a Daring Way certificate holder from Brene Brown's organization, will be facilitating that event. And also, so I'd like to see more of you at that event. And we have a survey that we'd like to complete before you sign off. And I think the link to the survey is going to be, there it is in the chat box. And last but definitely not least, I want to thank Bashir for being the technical director and support through all of this, and Carmelo for organizing me in how these events are held. And with that, don't forget to fill out your survey, and I hope to see you at our next virtual event, which is, I think the next one is April 22nd, but the May one is part 2 of Cultivating Resilience during COVID-19.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great session.
Oh, I'm delighted.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe,
Thank you.
stay well.
You too. Best of luck to your mom.
Thank you.
Rosemary, I'll stay for a minute.
I will also stay.
Okay.
I won't leave you alone. I will walk you.